Hi and welcome back, I'm Wayne, and if you haven't done so, please do subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, feel free to leave any criticism in the comment box below, and engage with these videos because YouTube keep on changing their algorithm and how they forward videos onto other people, and without any interaction the video doesn't go anywhere and it becomes really difficult for me to grow the channel, which is what I would like to do. Ultimately supply you guys with news and reviews and opinions that you enjoy and you get something out of. I hope you do. So with that to one side, thank you very much for joining me. Today's video is a spoiler free review on the Netflix film called The Letter for the King. I didn't realise until recently that this is actually based on a series of books. So yeah, again, Netflix are doing what they do best at the moment, which is converting books into film. But are they doing a good job? Well, let's find out, shall we? So The Letter to the King stars Ruby Serkis and her father Andy Serkis, who we're more familiar with in the role of Gollum in the Lord of the Rings series of films. Also stars Emma Wilson. Now Emma Wilson plays a character called Thierry, and he is a knight, but he's not yet a fully fledged knight. He's going through the training and needs to perform the Knight's Vigil with his fellow comrades. Ruby Serkis plays a character called Lavinia, and you don't see her straight away in the film. She's kind of comes in probably about 20 or 30 minutes in. So Thierry, the young knight, has to perform the Knight's Vigil, which is where they go to a particular location, like a haunted house. It gives you that impression that it's a haunted house. And they have to stay there the nights without leaving their altar or answering any doors, and essentially shut themselves off for about 24 hours, overnight at least. So during this vigil, there's a disturbance. Somebody's banging on the door begging for help. Out of all the knights that are performing the ritual, Thierry is the only one that decides that he needs to break the vigil and assist with the stranger. I think, like Thierry and myself watching the film, I kind of felt that this could have been part of the test, to test for chivalry, see what the knights would actually do in a situation like that. Would they stick to the rules, or would they bend the rules to help somebody in need? So he goes off and helps this chap, and there's a black knight which is carrying a message under attack, and he's been mortally wounded. The gist of the story is that the Black Knight convinces Thierry to carry on with his mission and get the letter to the king, hence the name of the film. It's filmed in New Zealand, so you see a lot of the backdrops, and reminded myself very much of Lord of the Rings. And it kind of, in the synopsis, will give you the impression that this is going to be a child-friendly version of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. The combat scenes are very well executed, but the plot line and story is a little bit slow. For 6 episodes, I kind of had the impression that by the time the story really gets going, it's going to come to an end. Having said that, the 6 episodes aren't too bad. They're a little bit slow paced, but I think the thing to remember is, although this is advertised as an action-packed mini-serial, it's not. The action scenes, although good, are for me few and far between. There is plenty of diversity with the cast, and the main storyline is, it plays out okay. If I was honest, I was expecting something a little bit more action-packed and fast-paced. There is a twist at the end with the main plot, because the plot gives you the idea that Thierry is this like special child. He's the chosen one. He comes from a magical background, pagan, I believe it is. I'm not sure it's pagan, and so therefore he has all this power and ability. The plot leans on that a lot, but it's just a little bit too slow. The cut scenes, when there's not an action scene going on and there's chatting around and the story develops slowly, it's just that it develops a little bit too slowly for me. So it could have been a lot better had they've narrowed it down essentially to maybe 3 episodes or 4 episodes, tightened the story up, and got to the point a bit quicker. So overall, I'd probably rate it a 6.5. If I'm to be honest, 6.5 probably very generous. It's probably nearer a 5. But for 6 hours of just sitting there and wanting a bit of escapism after you've been locked indoors for a few days or weeks, yeah, for me, I think it's probably one of those films where you can have it on in the background, dip in and out of other things. So if you're busy with the kids, you can put it on. It will entertain the kids to a degree if they don't get too bored of it, because it is quite slow. But you know how people have the radio on just for that bit of background noise. It kind of suffices for that. But if you sit down and watch it, the story itself is okay. It's worth investing in a little bit, but just be prepared that it's not going to be your Lord of the Rings. It's not going to have the clever script that Peter Jackson come up with for those series of films. It's certainly different to Game of Thrones. It kind of sells itself as something for children in that genre. So say it is filmed in New Zealand. You do get a lot of scenery which you'd think was Lord of the Rings, but I think it's probably trying too hard and doesn't necessarily know what it wants to be itself. So you end up with a little bit of a confusing scenario where the synopsis is this fantastic fantasy storyline, but it just doesn't develop or grow. And I think maybe if it could do one of two things. If they extended the season to maybe 10 episodes with a bit more action, they could have developed the characters better than what they do in the end. Or likewise, if they'd have cut it short by a couple of episodes and sped the plot up, it'd probably be a better film or a better series. You'd be able to justify sitting there and binge watching it. So at the moment, yeah, if you're bored and not really got much to do and you just want something that you can dip in and out of, my wife likes reading and she's very capable of reading a book, watching the TV at the same time. Have not got a clue how she does it, but she does. Yeah, so if you can multitask like that, then yeah, it's just like having the radio on while you're doing something. So it's okay. There is a twist at the end, but I won't go into that because I don't want to spoil it if you do decide to watch it. So yeah, it's very average. It's not as exciting as the synopsis would have you believe, and I think it's one of those cases where they've put a trailer together and put together all the best bits. So yeah, I mean, it's just my opinion. You might watch it, you might think it's great, or I might be right, and you can tell me so in the comments below. So yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't bother too much about it. If you don't see it, it's not the end of the world. Certainly not the end of Middle Earth. So yeah, that's it really. So thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down or comment, and if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying my content, then please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.